Hello friends, I'm Doug Terrell, and this is History and Comments for the 30th of August, 2021. In our modern age, where the world is just a few keystrokes away, it's nice to change and take a step back to older times, where you could walk into a store on Main Street. There was a clerk who knew their product and was willing to be helpful. There are a few of those places still around. Last week I had a chance to visit one. I needed some parts for my studio and took a trip to Evansville to visit the folks at Hutch & Sons. They have been an Evansville fixture for over 60 years, providing a long list of electronic parts and tools. Stop in and tell them I sent you. Just 3 blocks off the Lloyd Expressway at 300 North Main Street in Evansville. In 70 AD, the Romans finished their sacking of Jerusalem. 20 centuries later, we have no Romans and a healthy population of Jews. Samuel Whitbread is born in London in the year 1720. By 1742, he has completed an apprenticeship as a brewer and seemed to have been quite skilled at the trade and business. By 1760, he and his company are brewing 60,000 barrels of beer per year, much of it porter, one of the dark English beers rumored to be more of an oatmeal soup than what is commonly called beer. If you're wondering, stout is short for stout porter. John Moshely is born in 1907. A physicist by trade, he will be the designer behind one of the first digital computers, ENIAC. ENIAC was an acronym for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. Actor Fred MacMurray is born in 1908. Active in film and television from 1929 until 1978, he appeared in dozens of films and several television series, usually in bit parts. The one exception would be 380 episodes of My Three Sons as the father Steve Douglas. 1909, in British Columbia, a large fossil bed is discovered in Burgess Shale. Shales being formed in very fine mud deposits are excellent at capturing fine details. While much of the popular thinking is these and similar beds were formed over long epochs, there is also good arguments that they were formed quickly in a cataclysmic event. The Antarctic expedition led by Ernest Shackleton has not gone well. Beginning in 1914, they were planning to cross the continent via the pole, but their ship was trapped in sea ice before they made land. Crossing open ocean on ice floes in small boats, they managed to get north to Elephant Island. There they left a portion of their party while the rest sailed further north to effect a rescue. On this day in 1916, the Elephant Island group is rescued. 1918, things are heating up on the Russian front. The Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, are trying to be the group in power. Opposition forces seriously injure Lenin in an assassination attempt. Of course, this greatly displeases the Bolsheviks, who unleash a war on political dissidents known as the Red Terror. The numbers killed in the next few years range from 50 to 200,000. Ellen Deason is born in 1919 in Nashville, Tennessee. From a singing family and married into another one, she appeared first with her sisters and later as a backup singer with her husband's duo, Johnny and Jack. In the 40s, the country music industry was not ready for a female lead, and she was discouraged by even Roy Acuff. Almost ready to retire from music, she recorded a record mostly as a session musician. The record will stir some controversy, but propel Deason to stardom. Deason was known professionally as Kitty Wells, and of course the song was the 1952 hit It Wasn't God Who Made Honky Tonk Angels. Wells will chart 22 top 10 hits between 1952 and 1968. Born on this day in 1926, Daryl Gates will serve as Los Angeles police chief for 14 years through the 1980s. SWAT teams were started under Gates, and he was a co-creator in the drug abuse resistance education program known as DARE. Mega billionaire and investment guru Warren Buffett is 91 today. Musician John Phillips is born in 1935. Phillips was certainly creative, but came with excess baggage that doomed any hopes of a major career. Phillips was the lead singer and a large portion of the creative influence of the 60s folk rock group, the Mamas and Papas. The Mamas and Papas were doomed from the get-go. Phillips and wife Michelle were half the group. Michelle and the other Papa, Denny, were having an affair. Then on top of that, Phillips was given to drinking and drugs. The RMS Queen Mary wins the title for the fastest Atlantic crossing in 1936. There is a rumor the builders had planned to name her the RMS Victoria. And when they asked the king for permission, they worded the question vaguely, and his reply was, "I'm certain Queen Mary would be delighted." Of course, they could not embarrass the king, so the ship was called the Queen Mary. Since 1967, she has been docked and owned by the city of Long Beach, California. She has been used as a dockside hotel and tourist attraction. Her current condition is debated but far from seaworthy. Actor Ben Jones is 80. He has a single role as Cooter in the Dukes of Hazzard series. He also served 2 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives from Georgia. The Washington to Moscow hotline is placed in service between the 2 world powers in 1963. Idealized as a red telephone, it was never a telephone line. The first iteration was a teletype, something we might need to explain sometime. Replaced by a fax machine in 1986 and a secure email circuit in 2008. 1967, Thurgood Marshall is confirmed as an Associate Justice to the U.S. Supreme Court. Actress Cameron Diaz is 49 today. In 1992, the Federal Marshal Service gets a bit overzealous. They stalk Randy Weaver in an attempt to serve a warrant for weapons charges. There are some questions and lots of shots fired. The event has become known as Ruby Ridge for the location in northern Idaho. The result was a lengthy Senate hearing and reforms of federal law enforcement, along with a $300,000 settlement. 6 months later was Waco, Texas. It was not a good time for the feds. And that's History and Comments for the 30th day of August, 2021. I'm Doug Terrell. Now go and do something worth remembering. Closed circuit for our YouTube followers. Click on the picture down in the corner. There you can subscribe and follow us, get notifications when we post upcoming videos. I'm Doug Terrell.